From Sigma Woman, this is the Business for Aligned Women podcast. I'm your host, Clara McKay, your aligned business coach and advocate for all things showing up for your vision. This is a no BS space for brave-hearted women who are actually craving change. I'm dedicated to bringing women's visions into reality, equipping women with all they need to build an abundant future, and shutting down all of the ways that you keep yourself small. Here, we're all about a women-centered approach, non-negotiable value alignment, and making bank without compromising your well-being. Each week, you're already one step closer to your most aligned and abundant future. Welcome back to the podcast. Today is a really special day. Today is a special thing. I am introducing you to my book. It is out today. It's available and ready for you to purchase and grab. Get started on. The book is called Radical Self-Honoring, and it is a guide to becoming more of who you truly are. It's a book that I have been working on for about 2 years, but I've been really dedicated since about September, August last year. And it's a big passion project. It is based not on business, although I think it will really help you in your business to get some of these things worked out. And it is all of the medicine in me that I have found and realized through working with over 430 women in the last 6 or 7 years, one-to-one, and seeing what they need and seeing where they're holding themselves back and where they're not honoring their worth, and coming up with a process, a system, a strategy, and a tool to take you from self-abandonment to this opposite, which is radical self-honoring. Honoring yourself, your needs, your values, who you are at your core, letting go of conditioning, letting go of limiting beliefs and behaviors so that you can really step into who you truly are, not caring about what anyone else thinks or anyone else's opinions, not caring about trends, not caring about trying to fit in, just wildly honoring yourself and your unique expression and creative essential nature. Before we get into it, I wanted you to know that I only have one space left for aligned business intensives in 2025 this year. It would start in September. And I wanted to give a little PSA. This program won't run again until end of Jan next year, which is normal. Normally, I would run it in November. I'm not doing that this year because I haven't had Christmas off in over 5 years. And it's my birthday season. I want it off, so I'm taking it off. And it can be a beautiful time to work with clients because there's a lot less distractions, but I just need that time for myself. And that's an aspect of radical self-honoring, taking it. So it won't be running again until late Jan next year. And at this point in time, that container is going to be a group container. And I'm going to experiment if that container as a group works for me and works for my clients. If it works, this offer of the Aligned Business 10-week intensive will never go back to being one-to-one. If it doesn't work, we might go back to being one-to-one. So I just want you to know that this is the game that we're playing. We're going to just experiment. We're going to see how it works. I don't mean to seem inconsistent or chopping and changing. I'm giving you like at least 6 months notice and just letting you know that if you were really keen on the intensive and doing it one-to-one, there's only one space left right now, and it may be the last space ever. So I would jump on it if you're super, super keen. If this does go into a group, there is a potential that I will still offer some kind of intensive mentoring, but it's probably going to be much more expensive and a higher investment and energetic investment. And I would need people to be a little bit more committed to the process. So it could look really, really different to how it looks right now. It's really important in your business to always be checking in and making sure that things are working for you and working for your clients. And I think that it would be better for everyone involved if this was a group container, especially in terms of accountability. I think it can feel really easy to be slippery with your expectations of yourself when you're working with one person and convince them of your excuses. But when you have to show up each week with a group of your contemporaries, I think we'll all hold each other accountable a little bit better. And I do strongly believe that that's going to support the whole collective. So that is Aligned Business Intensives. It's one spot left for 2025, and it may be the last ever one-to-one spot that I offer. But I did also want to let you know that with my book, Radical Self-Honoring, when you purchase it, there is a link inside to a free journaling workbook that is a companion to the book, and it's designed to help you really process and integrate and work through on a personal level the many, many things that I am going to ask you to look at in the book. I know my girlies are journalers. I'm a journaler, so it made perfect sense to create that free resource for you. So if you grab the book, inside of it, you can get access to that journaling workbook as well. So let's go into a little bit more about this book. I am going to read you the description because I think that's just really helpful to get that synopsis. So the book's called Radical Self-Honoring, and it's a guide to becoming who you truly are. And it is a guide also to reclaiming your confidence and living in alignment with your values. Deep down, life could feel more aligned. That quiet voice within, it's your higher self inviting you into the kind of life you were meant to live, aligned, alive, and deeply yours. Radical self-honoring is a wake-up call for the woman who's done with people-pleasing, comparison, and living by everyone else's expectations. It's for the woman ready to stop abandoning herself, own her worth, and finally live by what matters most. A step-by-step guide to deconditioning all that holds you back, your limiting beliefs, patterns, and habits, so you can reclaim your confidence, reconnect with joy, and live in alignment with your values. It isn't just mindset work. It's a full body, soul deep reset that opens the door to clarity, fulfillment, and radiant self worth. Through honest reflection, practical tools, and my no bullshit brand guidance, you'll learn how to stop abandoning yourself and start living in alignment with what actually matters to you. With a potent mix of grounded wisdom and big sister bluntness, radical self honoring will guide you back to your truth and the woman you were always meant to be. So I hope that when you hear that, you can already hear why I wrote it. And I'm going to try and explain reasonably quickly why I wrote it. And the reason why I started a business initially was that I was in such an, like, the definition of the word toxic relationship with someone who whittled down disinterest. I had no self-worth. I thought I was completely worthless, completely useless, not worth having around, not worth being around. And that experience, something in it told me intuitively that I needed to dedicate the rest of my life to making sure other women were less likely to feel like this. And that started with my Vedic business, my energy healing, and then mentoring, and then business. And I see in the business side of things that a lot of people's behavior, they might think that they have self-worth and they might say that they have self-worth, but their behavior is that of someone who really doesn't like themselves. And it really breaks my heart to see it. And I also know through my own experience of working out my unique highest personal values. I'm not talking about freedom, space. I'm not talking about money, whatever it is. I'm saying your highest, most unique values. And that is by learning that, working that out, and living by that, and actually using them as decision-making filters. That is how I have got my self-worth back. And it's also how I'm someone who is confident enough to show up in my business, sell, show up on social media, water off a duck's back, do not care what anyone thinks. And if I didn't have my personal values and living in alignment with them as really a core principle of who I am, I don't think I would have this level of self-worth and self-confidence. And most of the women, not all, but most of the women in my community really need a big injection of self-worth and self-confidence. So this book is essentially a manual to create a life that will give you that. And it has felt like a very medicinal thing that I had to do. I had to get it out of me. I had to put pen to paper, and it had to happen. And it has frankly blocked and been the obstacle to a lot of other ideas and projects and businesses that I am wanting to work on. And man, am I eager to get to them now that this is out of the way. But this had to be the priority. It felt like to lack of a better term, like the universe needed me to do this. And this was one of the biggest gifts that I have had and have accumulated. And it's confronting. The book's confronting. You know my vibe. I'm telling it to you straight. I'm being blunt, but I'm giving you meaning and I'm giving you alternatives. Introducing the new Everything Done for You branding package. This is a package that I've put together after seeing what women really needed in their business to be able to hit the ground running, feel very confident, streamline their time, streamline their energy, and make running business easeful. In this package, you get a full new brand identity, you get social media templates that you can lock and load, plug and play with that are all brand cohesive. You will get an on-brand website. You will get Flowdesk, email funnel, sales funnel templates that are all beautifully on brand and made specifically for your business. And you'll get a bonus UX design and on-brand link in bio site. And you can get all of this for the fraction of what most studios charge for branding alone. This is your one-stop shop when it comes to completely rebranding and refreshing your business for brand cohesion so that you can connect with your target market wherever they are, build confidence, build trustworthiness, and start converting more than you can imagine. It's an incredibly gentle resource, even though at times the truth of it is crystalline and quite sharp in its clarity. Radical self-honoring just means to know your values and live in alignment with them unapologetically and have strong boundaries around them and use them as a way to filter your decisions so that you're no longer being run by overthinking, overanalyzing, and being indecisive, which is such a huge energy leak and a big reason why people feel overwhelmed and burnt out. It's a game changer because it really puts you back in the driver's seat of your life and stops you from worrying about what everyone else thinks and being led by comparison rather than inspiration. And it's a set of tools and methods that I have come up with that I think when you put them all together in the order that I've given them to you, they will completely transform your life for the better if you are self-aware and open enough to take them on. And it is really about taking you from self-abandonment, which I would say is the opposite of radical self-honoring, into a life of aligned self-trust and knowing that the actions that you are taking are for your highest good, and developing consistency and also developing a little bit more of a healthy reputation with yourself so that you can show up for the vision of your life. And I do believe that if you follow this book, eventually you will end up with a life that you didn't think you were even allowed to have. It's that good. And it will feel really good. And a natural byproduct of this is that you are going to feel way, way more confident in every single aspect of your life, including your business. And you will really stop playing small and you will really step into your natural, your own flavor magnetism. Radical self-honoring. It's out now. This is a really big deal to me. And I really put my head on the line in this book because I'm sharing my truth and I know it's going to trigger a lot of people and people might be upset. That's part of my design. It's part of my astrology. I kind of have to cop it. But if you've been listening to this podcast, if you've been following me on social media, I am literally begging you, please go and read this book because this is like a distillation of everything I know, and everything that I know will help you. And it's also a fraction of the cost of coaching. And it's going to, if you're thinking about running a business, or if you already are and you're having any problems, it's going to make all of that so much better. And I will say that when I work with clients, one of the first tasks I get them to do is to write out their highest personal values. And most of the time, I would say 97% of the time, they're very broad and very generic. And if someone has very broad and very generic highest personal unique values, they do not know themselves. And it's hard to live in alignment if you don't know yourself. And it's hard to like yourself if you don't know yourself. And this book will give you a step-by-step practice of actually working out what your values are so that you can fall in love with yourself and start respecting yourself and your dreams and your vision way more. And hopefully just to become more of who you truly are. It isn't about fixing. It isn't about you being broken. It's just about peeling off the layers to unearth and unveil what was always there, but maybe had been forced into hiding. You can grab it now. If you can't tell, getting to share this time with you is something that I find truly sacred. I know that you're busy, but if you've taken anything away from our time spent together today, could you extend the love and share this episode with a friend, your community, or on your socials? Tag me so that I can see it and I can share it too. Or when you have a spare moment, leave the podcast for review. These things cost you nothing and will mean so much to me. Let's get this resource into the hands of more women visionaries and help us collectively move towards our most aligned way of being and doing business together.